They cannot touch you after this. The Stoic Guide to Psychological Invincibility. Welcome to Dark Stoic. Today, we explore the ancient art of becoming untouchable, not through physical armor, but through the impenetrable fortress of the mind. We will uncover how the Stoics mastered psychological invincibility, why most people remain slaves to the opinions of others, and the precise methods you can use to become immune to manipulation, criticism, and emotional attack. By the end of this video, you will understand why those who once had power over you will find their weapons useless against your transformed mind. There is a war being waged against your peace of mind. Every single day, forces conspire to destabilize you. Critics sharpen their tongues. Manipulators craft their schemes. The world throws chaos at your feet and waits for you to crumble. Most people do crumble. They spend their entire lives as puppets, dancing to the strings pulled by others, reacting to every insult, every slight, every whispered judgment. But you are here because you sense there is another way. You are here because something inside you refuses to remain vulnerable. And the ancient Stoics, those philosophers who advised emperors and endured exile, who faced death with steady eyes, they left us the blueprint for total psychological sovereignty. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who ruled Rome at its height, wrote in his private journals words that still cut through the noise of modern life with surgical precision. He said, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." Read those words again in your mind. Let them settle into the bedrock of your consciousness. This is not positive thinking. This is not denial. This is the fundamental truth about the architecture of human suffering. The harm you feel from others exists only because you allow it passage into your inner citadel. Every insult that wounds you, every criticism that keeps you awake at night, every rejection that makes you question your worth, these things have exactly as much power as you grant them, not 1 ounce more. But how did we become so vulnerable in the first place? How did humanity, capable of building empires and crossing oceans, become so easily devastated by mere words and opinions? The answer lies in our programming. From childhood, we are taught to seek approval. We learn that love is conditional, that acceptance must be earned, that our value is determined by external validation. We become addicted to praise and allergic to criticism. We hand the keys to our emotional kingdom to anyone willing to take them. Seneca, that brilliant advisor to emperors who ultimately chose death over dishonor, understood this trap intimately. He wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Consider the mathematical truth of this statement. How many hours have you spent agonizing over what someone might think? How many sleepless nights have you endured replaying conversations, constructing arguments, defending yourself against accusations that exist only in your mind? The suffering you create for yourself dwarfs anything others could actually inflict upon you. This is the first lock you must break on your path to invincibility. You must recognize that you have been your own torturer. The critics outside your walls are nothing compared to the enemy you have harbored within. Epictetus understood this better than perhaps any philosopher who ever lived. Born a slave, physically disabled by his master's cruelty, he had every reason to see himself as a victim of external forces. Yet, from his position of apparent powerlessness, he articulated the most liberating insight in human philosophy. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, reputation, office, and in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. This is the great division. This is the line that separates the enslaved from the free. Everything that happens outside your mind, every word spoken about you, every action taken against you, every circumstance that befalls you, exists beyond your direct control. But your judgments, your interpretations, your responses, these remain forever yours. When someone insults you, they have done nothing to you. They have merely expelled sound waves into the air. Your ears converted those waves into signals. Your brain interpreted those signals. And somewhere in that process, you made a choice, often unconsciously, to feel wounded. The Stoics demand that you reclaim that choice. They insist that you take back the throne that has always been yours. Now we must address the practical architecture of invincibility. It is not enough to understand these principles intellectually. You must build them into your daily existence until they become as automatic as breathing. The first pillar is the practice of negative visualization. Each morning, before you step into the battlefield of human interaction, you must inoculate yourself against potential attacks. Imagine the worst that could be said about you. Picture the most cutting criticism, the most painful rejection. Sit with it, breathe through it, and recognize that even in this worst-case scenario, your inner self remains untouched. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He wrote, "Begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." This was not pessimism. This was preparation. By expecting difficulty, you rob it of its power to surprise and destabilize you. The second pillar is the discipline of delayed response. When you feel the sting of criticism or the heat of anger rising in your chest, you must create space. Seneca advised, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." In that gap between stimulus and response lies your freedom. In that sacred pause, you can choose who you want to be. Most people react instantly, automatically, like animals prodded with a stick. But you are building something different. You are constructing a mind that observes its own reactions, that questions its own impulses, that refuses to be rushed into emotional chaos. There is a deeper level to this teaching that many never reach. The Stoics understood that true invincibility comes not from defending against attacks, but from transcending the very framework in which attacks have meaning. Consider what happens when someone criticizes you. They make a claim about your character or your worth. If you defend yourself, you have already accepted their authority to judge you. If you attack back, you have confirmed that their words have power over your emotional state. Either way, you lose. The Stoic response is different. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Why would you value the judgment of someone who does not know your struggles, your intentions, your inner world, over your own self-assessment? This is madness when examined clearly, yet nearly everyone engages in it. When you truly internalize your own worth, when you have done the hard work of examining your character and aligning it with virtue, the opinions of others become mere data points. They might contain useful information, which you can evaluate dispassionately. Or they might be the projections of broken people trying to transfer their pain onto you. Either way, they do not define you. Seneca addressed those who attacked him throughout his life. To those who spread rumors and lies, who questioned his integrity and mocked his philosophy, he responded with words that should be tattooed on the consciousness of everyone who seeks inner peace. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements, if it were all well invested. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and spent on no good activity, we are forced at last by death's final constraint to realize that it has passed away before we knew it was passing. Do you see the connection? Every moment you spend wounded by others' opinions, every hour you invest in nursing grievances and plotting revenge, every day you lose to the anxiety of judgment. This is time stolen from your one precious life. Your enemies do not even need to attack you. Your own reaction to them does their work for them. This is why the Stoics were so adamant about this practice. Psychological invincibility is not merely about feeling better. It is about reclaiming the hours and years that emotional slavery has stolen from you. Epictetus offered perhaps the most practical technique for developing this invincibility. He said, "If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone.'" This is philosophical Aikido. Instead of meeting force with force, you redirect the energy entirely. You refuse to play the game of defensiveness. You demonstrate through your response that you are beyond the reach of such attacks. And in doing so, you rob your critic of any satisfaction they hope to gain. There is immense power in this approach. Those who seek to harm you through words are expecting resistance. They anticipate anger or tears or frantic justification. When they receive instead calm acknowledgement or even humor, their weapon dissolves in their hands. They realize they have no power here. As we reach the end of this exploration, remember that psychological invincibility is not built in a day. It is constructed through countless small choices, countless moments of catching yourself before you react, countless practices of returning to these principles when you have strayed. But the fortress you build will stand against any assault. The peace you cultivate will persist through any storm. And one day, you will look back at the person you used to be, the one who flinched at criticism and ached for approval, and you will feel compassion for that former self, along with gratitude for the path you chose to walk. Marcus Aurelius knew he would face this struggle until his final breath. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The work of becoming psychologically invincible is the work of becoming fully yourself, unapologetic, sovereign, free. They cannot touch you after this, not because you have become numb, but because you have become awake. Not because you no longer feel, but because you choose what you feel. This is the Stoic inheritance. This is your birthright. Claim it. That's all for today. Stay dark, stay stoic. See you in the next one.